Alright, how many people know how to divide? Just divide.
Oh.
How many people remember the rules to the multiplication of integers last week? And this is going to be easy. That's all you have to do is be able to divide and then follow the rules. You can put your hand down, Ethan. So what do you think the first thing you need to do right is? Just right away, when you've got one of those problems, what's the first thing you need to do right?
Divide.
Do the division. Do the division right, exactly. So just get the division correct. If you mess up on the division, it's not going to matter what sign you put, is it? Get the division correct. Now, after you do the division, you have to decide what sign it is, just like when we multiply. Now, what were our rules? Positive divided by positive is a
negative.
What?
Positive. Positive.
Positive, right? Positive divided by a negative
Negative. Negative.
is a negative. What about a negative divided by a positive?
Negative.
And negative by negative?
Positive.
So anytime you have two of the same sign, it's always positive. Anytime they're different signs, negative. That's pretty much all you have to remember other than how to divide, which you learned in
Third grade.
preschool. You went to an advanced preschool then. I don't know.
Well,
I would say about third grade or something, second, third grade. Is that when you started?
Parker's dad taught him how to do algebra when he was 2. That's what he told
They
me.
just think you're just the next Nobel Prize winner or something.
What's that?
Well,
Oh my
look
gosh.
it up. Look it up. We'll say look it up.
I've heard of that.
Alright, so let's look at the examples and get through this really quick. 8 divided by 4 is what? Just 2, right? Now, we're going to do it the same way we did multiplication. We're going to divide, get the answer, then we're going to look back at what we did, what numbers we had. So 8 was a what kind of number? Positive. 4 was a positive, so my answer should be positive. So my answer is just 2. Easy?
Yes, sir.
Really easy, isn't it? Like I said, as long as you understood multiplying last week, this is pretty much the same rules, isn't it?
Sure.
Negative 15 divided by 3. What's 15 divided by 3?
5.
So we get the answer. We do the division first. We get 5.
We have one negative number.
I have a negative, positive, so my answer ends up
Negative.
a negative, so it's negative 5. This is almost like a review, isn't it? It's just now we're dividing instead of multiplying.
I think dividing's easier.
You think dividing is easier than multiplying?
Yeah.
No.
Well, not with the big long.
But like this? Not when it's a decimal?
Yeah.
That's true. So now 32 divided by negative 8. 32 divided by 8 is what? 4. Now look back, what kind of numbers do I have? Positive and so my answer needs to be. Notice when I'm labeling these, I write it underneath so I can write it down and I can look back to my rules and it looks exactly like one of my rules, doesn't it? Positive, negative, negative, right? That way if you forget it in your head, you just look back to your rules. Negative 24 divided by negative 6. What is it, McGee? 24 divided by 6. 4. And what do I have?
2 negatives.
Negative and a negative, so my answer is going to be positive. So today should be really easy, huh? Unless multiplying was hard.
If you remember that, it will be.
Yeah, right? Or if you just look at your notes. That's where first class seemed to have troubles. They just didn't want to look back at their notes.
It's so easy that you can just memorize it too.
You could memorize it. Negative 63 divided by negative 9.
7.
7.
Both negative, so it's positive.
Both negative, so it's a positive.
Think about it. Negative plus
10 divided by 11?
10.
It's 10.
Negative and a positive, so it's a negative.
Negative and a positive, so it's a negative. Easy, easy. Now let's just do the word problem. Cody, read the word problem for us.
The football team was penalized a total of 15 yards in 3 plays. If the team was penalized an equal amount on each play, what integer represents the change in yards for each penalty?
Alright, so we got penalized 15 yards, 3 plays, and every time we were penalized it was the same amount. We got to set up a problem. How do we set the problem up, Bryce?
You can do, you could either do, I don't know how to do it in integer, so I know a different way, but,
Do it every way? Okay, how would we represent those 15 yards that we were penalized as an integer? What's it, Ethan?
Negative 15.
Why is it negative?
Because you were penalized, and that's
And we know in football that means you're going backwards. And then there's 3 plays, right? So I know 3 is going to be in there. So what's left? Ross? Divide, right? To find what each time was. So now I just have a problem, don't I?
Ignore the signs for right now.
So ignore the signs like Ron says, and I get
5.
5. And it was a
negative.
negative and a positive, so my answer's got to be negative, so my answer is negative 5. So you went negative 5 yards each play. What's up, Bryce?
if you were doing integers, could you do a proportion on that?
Hal, explain what you would have set up.
You could do,
Because I only see 2 numbers, though.
what?
Don't you have to have 3 numbers to set up a proportion with 1 number missing? Right? You have 3 numbers and the 4th number's missing?
Oh yeah, I thought it said 5. Okay.
Oh, no. So, not on this one. We good? Easy? One thing you have to do on the homework is look back at your notes from adding and subtracting, too, though. Because you're going to have ones that have PIMDOS. Alright? Kill it there, Tuck.